I'm not joking. I have asked the last 3 dudes I've dated for their bank account info on the first date.
I don't judge people's actions. I look at the intention behind it. So like, why do you ask for that?
Because I only want to date a wealthy guy that has money.
Valid. So you're getting straight to the point.
I think, I have a job. I'm very successful. So I think I have every right to be like, hi, are we on the same level or am I wasting my time?
My gold digger wife has become infatuated with her classmate who is much richer than I am, and spend all day texting him. Plus update. My wife has been on her phone a lot more over the last few months. I've asked a few times who she's texting all the time and she says it's just a friend from school. When I ask more questions however she gets defensive, telling me to stop accusing me even if I don't. I wasn't sure what else to do after a night where we watched a movie and she spent the whole time on her phone smiling and texting someone. So unfortunately I took a peek at her phone while she slept. I found out that she's been texting some guy from her college all day every day. The texts last from like 7 a.m. to midnight. The texts seem innocent overall, nothing intimate or anything. But there are a few things bothering me. I went all the way to the beginning of the conversation. The first issue is that this texting started when my wife asked a friend for this guy's number and then started texting him randomly. Next, she is always the one to text him first, and she double texts him every single time he stops responding. I wish I were exaggerating. I've also never met this guy, don't know how old he is, don't know what he looks like. Although the conversations seem innocent, it seems like she randomly texts him just to start a conversation, often tells him about her school drama, etc. It also seems like they spend lots of time at school together, playing some card game. She has even left dinner with me early to go back to the school and play cards with him. She invites him to spend one-on-one time, whether it's at school, at the bar or wherever. When her parents came into town, she even invited this guy to the bar with her and her parents. Further, she baked cookies for this guy. She loves to bake, and I remember her one day baking a type of cookie she had never baked before. While I assumed she was baking them for a party she was going to that night, the text showed me that she baked them just for this guy. What makes it worse is the fact that she went out of her way to do it. I had the car that night, so she walked 30 minutes to the store in the rain to get the ingredients, baked the cookies, and brought them over to his apartment where she stayed for 2 hours. She did go to the party afterward but only stayed for a few minutes to say hi to a few people and left. One thing I've been a bit insecure about is the fact that my profession doesn't pay that great. She lived a very privileged lifestyle through her parents before meeting me, and she is in grad school for a profession that generally pays significantly more than mine, like 5x what I make. She will make more in her summer internship than I make in a year. This guy she is texting is in the same profession. Edit. I was able to have a conversation with the guy she's been texting. I got his number off her phone and just texted him saying, hey, this is the husband. I caught wind of what's been going on between you two and just wanted to see if you'd be willing to be honest with me about what has happened. He responded pretty quickly and was willing to meet with me for lunch in a public place, so we met. He's 23 and very good looking. I'll give him that. When we met for lunch I started the conversation by asking him if he could give me his perspective on what's been happening between him and my wife. He started with a disclaimer that nothing physical has happened between them, and honestly I believe him. He seems like a decent guy. He told me he respects me and never wanted to get involved with a married woman, and he started the story from the very beginning. He says he approached her at the beginning of school because he found her attractive. He doesn't remember whether she was wearing a wedding ring, but when he approached her she seemed very interested. Absolute zero indication she may have been in a relationship. When she found out he had a post-grad job offer, he was overly congratulatory. After talking to her more over the next few days, he asked for her Instagram, which she seemed hesitant to give, but she gave her Instagram anyway. When he followed her he immediately realized she was married. He was floored due to her behavior, but he decided to fall way back. After falling back, he heard from some mutual friends that she seemed to be a bit offended that he stopped talking to her after finding out she was married. I found that a bit strange, but whatever. Some drama transpired between them, so he went out of my way to avoid her for around a month or so, but after a while he felt the beef was a waste of my time. So he decided to give her a compliment to kinda communicate that he doesn't mind being cordial with her. She seemed ecstatic about the compliment, and he heard from mutual friends that she was going around telling people that we were friends again. Found that strange also. He just wanted to be cordial. Anyways, they made up, and shortly thereafter he got a random text message from her telling him that she got his number from someone else. Another thing I found strange. The text started pretty infrequent but gradually progressed to her texting him every day, double texting and all. She even seemed really pressed about him meeting her parents when they came into town. At this point it seemed she was very interested in him, but he wasn't very responsive over text because she is married. Over time, however, his walls broke down slowly because he did enjoy the attention. She's inviting him to hang out one-on-one, playing cards with him, offering to bake cookies, etc. She told him how upset she was over the fact that apparently she and I had planned a trip for Thanksgiving to see her friends but didn't end up going because of a tight budget. She also told him that she would sleep on the couch a lot. They didn't talk much over final exams due to being busy, and they didn't really talk much over winter break. However, at the start of this new semester, the texting all day every day and double texting came back full force. At this point he kind of felt like she actually liked him and was pursuing him, and also he felt bad. But again he enjoyed the attention. She baked him the cookies the first week of school, brought them over and sat on his bed for 2 hours, but nothing physical happened. She honestly didn't seem interested in intimacy at all, even though he kinda wanted it to happen at that point. But here we are now. She still texts him every day and honestly it has become more frequent than ever before. That's the end of the story.
Do you realize that some women flirt with men just to get free drinks? This behavior is surprisingly common. I've heard women openly discuss it with their friends without any shame, probably because they don't realize it's wrong, and society isn't holding them accountable. Have you ever met a woman who didn't want more clothes, shoes, or purses? Most importantly, a woman who didn't expect her man to make more money and fulfill other materialistic desires? I haven't. I've heard women talk about being content with less, but their actions speak louder than words, especially when you look at large data sets like the US Census. It's clear that women as a group strongly prefer men who make a lot of money. It's not just a preference, it's a deep-seated repulsion toward men who can't provide. That's why they often label less attractive men as creepy. They have a visceral reaction to men they perceive as lacking in the ability to provide. I'm not bragging, I'm sharing my experience. I've worked hard in my career and now, after many sacrifices, I make a good income. The difference in how women treated me before and after I started earning well was like night and day. The length some women will go to in order to secure a man they see as having high sexual marketplace value is downright insane. I had a 6-month fling with a woman that was purely physical. We didn't spend much time together outside of that. Little did I know she was married. When I confronted her, she justified her actions by claiming she wanted to be with a real man, which, in her eyes, meant someone with money. I quickly ended things and apologized to her husband, whom I later found out was a stand-up guy and a caring father. It was heartbreaking to see how her selfishness had scarred their family. She never explained why she felt entitled to cheat on her husband. Instead, she blamed me for her own actions, accusing me of manipulating her. This, despite the fact that I had never lied or misled her, was all her doing. This experience repeated itself twice more with women in relationships, leaving me bewildered at their similar patterns of deceit and indifference to their partner's feelings. Each time, I felt physically ill, as I strived to be a decent person and would never want to cause harm to someone else's relationship. These experiences have shattered my faith in women when it comes to relationships. I've come to realize that cheating isn't just about the act itself, but also the lack of regard for the person being cheated on. It's a painful lesson that has led me to avoid relationships altogether. While I know there are good women out there, they seem to be increasingly rare. Women under 40 now out-earn men, yet their expectations remain unchanged: to exploit men as their providers. Men are still expected to foot the bill for dates, buy gifts, open doors, pull out chairs, do all the work in bed, carry shopping, fix things, and more, while women watch. We've all seen videos where women admit to dating men for their money or cars, but did you know that 70% of UK women would reconsider leaving a boring man if he won the lottery? Or that 78% of US women consider a partner with a steady job the most important trait in a spouse, and 75% would have an issue dating someone without a job, with only 4% willing to date an unemployed man? Are we truly in an equal society, or one that favors women at the expense of men, blatantly discriminating based on sex? Many women expect men to pay for everything while claiming to be strong and independent. They have their own careers, cars, apartments, and money, everything feminism fought for. Yet they still demand to be treated like victims of a 1940s patriarchy, where men were the sole breadwinners and women were oppressed housewives. These women want the chivalry of a 1940s man, but the financial independence of a 2023 woman. They want to keep their money while expecting men to provide for them, all while controlling sex like they're keeping a dog on a leash. No thank you. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my new video drops. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.